Hi, good afternoon, YouTube. Good afternoon. How are you? How are you doing? Today is um what day is it? Today is Tuesday. I thought it was Wednesday, so today's Tuesday. The days are running into one for me. Today's Tuesday. For those who are new to the channel, welcome. And for those who are joining me as you do every day, welcome. My name is Joanna Daniel, and I found Wounds to Scars, where we work with adult survivors of childhood trauma and abuse. I'm also a counselor. I live in the Wales with my family. So I'm here every day. As usual, I want to check just to make sure everything is okay. I live in Wales. That's not what I was saying, is it? I'm saying I'm here every day with you, helping you, giving you tips and tools to get through this lockdown. I can see that I'm there and I'm live. I'm sure the sound is right too. I just like to check the sound just to make sure everything is great. Everything is good. Sounds fine. So, how are you doing? Let me know. My contact details is in the description of this video. And I really want to know how you're doing. How are you managing with a second wave of lockdown? How are you managing? Hi, I can see that somebody's here. Let me know who you are so I can say hi properly. So, how are you coping with the second phase of lockdown? How has it affected you? Hasn't it affected you? Yesterday, I went to the dentist in town, and I didn't know that they'd reopened, but he said they've been open since July. But it was a very different experience than what I had when I went last time with the children and with myself. So everything is different. Life as we knew it is different. Hey, Renee. And it's how do we navigate this new space? So tell me, how are you managing? How are you coping? Thanks for being here, Renee. How are you coping with this second phase of lockdown? I must admit that as an introvert, it took me a long time to not be okay. But when it finally set in, it did. And I was like, I need people. I'm over this now. And when I interviewed Ven Reese and we talked about practical ways to deal with anxiety and depression, we talked about isolation, and social isolation is a really big part of mental health. And when we're socially isolated, it's not the best thing for us. So today I'm going to talk about some ways to keep in touch with people without breaking the rules. It's really important to stay in touch with people. Really important not to go inside and isolate. I know sometimes some people use that as a way of coping when things get difficult, that you retreat, you shut down, you lock yourself off from other people, and you're not accessible. And in terms of managing your overall emotional well-being, that's not the best thing to do. I know that we all need downtime, we all need quiet time. Don't make your downtime and quiet time last too long. you know um social connection is really important for maintaining good mental health. So if your downtime lasts a week, that's too long. If it's last 3 days, it's too long. A couple hours at the most. And then we want to use some really good coping mechanisms to get us back into the space where we can take calls again, make calls again, answer messages again, and be in contact and keep in touch with people. So really pay attention to that. Do I just go inside myself too long? How long is an appropriate time for downtime? Yeah, if it's a week, it's too long. 2 days is too long. If you are intentionally taking some time out because you're dealing with something in particular, and you said to your friends, "Hey, I'm not going to be as available as I used to be because this thing happened, and I really can't talk right now. So I'm going to take some time out to reflect, to be with myself, to go for walks, and to really nurse and look after myself." That's a very different thing. And even then, you might go away. I know people do silent retreats where they go away for a week or 3 days to a silent retreat, but it's a healthy space. That's a healthy space. When you're doing that and you're saying to your friends, "I'm going to take a couple of days, I'm going to journal, I'm going to do self-care, I'm going to do green juice, and I'm following this program and this plan, and I'm going to do this thing to look after myself because this has gone on." That's a very different thing than shut down, lock off, nobody can access you. That's very different. That space isn't healthy, and that space shouldn't last long. Couple hours at the most, where you disconnect from other people, you lock off, you're not taking calls, you're not returning calls, you're not taking messages, you're not doing any one of those things. When you're doing that, that tells me that you need to have some healthier ways of coping. because when you have healthier ways of coping, that's not a healthy coping mechanism. It is a coping mechanism, may have kept you for a while, but I want you to reassess it, reflect on it, reassess it, and find some healthier ways of coping. So to answer your question, Renee, it shouldn't last more than a couple hours. It shouldn't last for days and a week and more. We want you to have some healthy ways of coping where you learn how to regulate, you understand what's going on in your mind and in your body, and you can use that to help yourself to move out of that place. If it lasts longer, then it might be something else. It might be depression. It might not be that you are choosing to self isolate and to cut people off. It might be that you need to go to your GP and talk about bouts of depression and see what they recommend for that. And even then, when it's like that, there are natural things again. I talked about the Depression Recovery Program by Dr. Neil Nedley, which is very efficient, very effective in helping to manage depression. I would also want to look at the underlying causes. What's my trigger? What sends me in lockdown and let me cut myself off from communication and contact with people? Something is there that sends you there, and that something needs fixing. That something needs addressing and processing so that you're managing those feelings in a healthier way. And I know, as I said, lots of people do it, lots of people use it. And I even see memes now on social media about it, but it just says we need to help you with some healthier ways of coping. So here are some ways to look after yourself, to stay in contact without breaking the rules. So one of them, of course, is text messages. Just be available. Now, none of us can be available all the time. As I said, introvert here, I can't be on my phone all the time. So there's a certain time when I can't. I just need the time out from that stimulation, and I'll take a break, and then I'll come back and I'll respond to your messages, and emails and stuff like that. So, but keeping in touch, answering questions, sending questions yourself, doing video calls once a day with somebody or a group of friends. Um, Make an effort to play a game with somebody once a week, twice a week. Be in touch with your spiritual community. Don't isolate from them. And I know, because the world is zooming, it's so interesting that we can go to this one and this one and this one. We don't have to connect. But connection is really important and is going to help you to get through healthily and in a good space, in a good way. So though we can go listen to this speaker and that one and that one and that one, we can just show up in a Zoom room and we don't have to answer questions. Nobody knows we're there. We don't have to talk. And it might feel good for a while, but you're missing out on connection with a group of people that you're used to being with, who can see you, who can check in with you, laugh with you, know you. That's really, really important. So stay with some of the people who are familiar. Go to places in the Zoom world, in social media world, where people are familiar and people know you, and you can connect with people that you can connect with, the possibility of connecting with. If you struggle with connection, again, it tells me that something is wrong and we need to work on, why do I struggle with connection? Why is it that I don't have any friends? Because not having any friends, I know sometimes we wear that as a badge of honor. I don't have any friends, I'm a loner, but nobody's meant to be a loner. We were created for connection. It's an integral part of our survival as humans, that we're connected with other humans. We need each other, to survive, to thrive, to be healthy, to be whole, to be wholesome. We need each other in order to do that. Now, I'm not saying the space shouldn't be unhealthy or toxic. The space should be whole and healthy, and you can manage conflict, and you can, if there's anything, repair work can be happened. There's a lot of um positivity in this space, lots of positive energy, lots of repair, giving, receiving. Your needs are met, you know how to meet each other's needs. Lots of that need to be present in order for the relationship to be healthy and functional. And if it's not that, then you need to kind of, those are the ones that you cut, but not leave yourself isolated, but open yourself for other people that will come into your space, that are safe people that you can build those kind of connections with. I know sometimes when we're used to toxic and we're used to unhealthy, one of the ways we think we can cope is to cut everybody off and not have anybody. So when safe people come, we can't recognize them, because the lens that we're looking at the world through is, we're only seeing unsafe people because that's what we're used to. So relationship needs to be assessed in how do I do this safely? How do I have relationships that are safe and connected? Another way to get through without breaking the rules is, of course, the virtual space, but also find out what the lockdown rules are in your area. What are the lockdown rules in your area? Does it mean that you might be able to go walking with people in your bubble when it's not strict fire break lockdown, like when it moved to the tier system, which I know England's moving to on the 3rd of December. I saw on the news. You might be able to go for walks with people that are in your bubble, and sometimes we tend to talk to them over the phones or use it virtually and not make an effort to go walking with them in a bubble. So you might be able to do that. You might be able to, when it's again safe to do the distancing that we were doing before the lockdown starts again, do that outreach, meeting people. They might need volunteers. This is the time when people might need volunteers. Shelters might need volunteers. Homeless places need volunteers. They need volunteers to serve school meals to children during the holidays. There are places that are going to be preparing to serve Christmas dinners to people during the holidays. There are food banks that might need volunteers. That's a way to stay in contact with people and serve, and it gives you that wonderful joyful feeling when you're doing something to help others. So find out in your area, is there a way to volunteer and to help? There might be elderly people who need somebody to do their shopping, need somebody to pick up medication if they're not delivered. Anything like that that keeps you in contact with people and people in contact with you. So you can talk to people, they can talk to you, of course, at a distance, but there's so many ways that we can stay in touch still. I have a plan to make candles. I love making candles. I wish I could make soap. One day, somebody out there, any one of my friends in my YouTube world who makes soap, maybe we can do a virtual soap making session. You tell me what to get, I get it, we make the soap. But I'm going to make candles because I like making candles and I haven't made any since last year. And I'm going to make candles, and I'm going to make those. I do flowers sometimes too, and I don't know if I'll be able to get the things to do the flowers where I live, but I'm going to do candles. I'm going to give candles. Just walk around and give my neighbors candles. So I'm able to talk to people and be in touch with people. I'm going to drive to people who I haven't seen since March, and I'm going to leave candles and talk them from my car window so we can social distance. But it's a way to see people. I see them and they see me, and human contact is really, really important. So those are some of the ways that you can stay in touch with people without breaking the rules. You see them, they see you, and you're in touch, in contact, and you're not jeopardizing each other's health. Maybe you can meet up at the supermarket and both do your shopping at the same time, because we all have to eat, don't we? And we know shopping is a allowed activity. So if you're shopping at the same time, you can social distance and shop. I mean, everybody's in their mask and stuff like that in the shops, and most shops are one-way systems and all that. So those are ways that you can stay in touch. We have to be intentional, have to step out of our comfort zone, and we have to think. You know how they say think outside the box? Here is the reason why we have to think outside the box, a way that we do that so we stay in touch. But whatever you do, I hope that you're not isolated, that it's not impacting you, but you can find ways to be in touch. Manage the fear. There are videos. All of last week I dealt with fear, ways that you can manage the fear, and some of the fear that is not yours, some of the fear that is given to you. um how you can protect yourself and your mind from that fear so that you can go and you can do things and meet people and talk to people and have that vital social connection that we all need in order to survive and thrive. All right, so that's all I have for you today. Today is Tuesday again. I'm saying that to remind myself because I'm completely lost track of time. But today's Tuesday, so I'll be back tomorrow at 1 p.m. where I'm going to do some more about how we can safely help each other get through this lockdown. But here's a homework for you to do. I like to give my clients homework. Look around you. What are those needs that you can meet that will help you to be in touch? What are those needs? Can you go shopping for somebody? Can you make a dish for somebody who really needs it and drop it at their door and have a conversation at their door if that's allowed? When that's allowed, can you meet up somebody in the supermarket? Can you go for a social distancing walk when the fiber and lockdowns ended? Can you go serve in your community? Is there a shelter, of a food bank, anywhere like that that needs help, that needs people to help them? How can you do that? One of the things that on Sunday morning, my son was playing football. I've never been, it was freezing, but I went to football. We all went to football before breakfast. That was out early. We went to football and we were able to talk to other people, of course, from a distance. You know, there were dogs and they played with the dogs, and it was just so good to help to revitalize. So things like that is happening where we are anyway, because our fiber and stuff has ended. So just find out what's going on where I am. There are people like you who are indoors who want other people to be in touch with, to be in contact with. If you're a single person, I know it's particularly difficult. There, you live alone. I have siblings who live alone, and I understand that need. But see what's going on in your area and how you can serve people. All right. So take care, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.